I'm Aria Styles and I'm going to teach you St. Anne's Reel. When you learn a fiddle tune, you want to strip it down as much as possible. This is St. Anne's Reel. It's very easy, it's very basic. It's in the key of D and it's one of my favorite reels to play. Now, along with a lot of the great fiddle tunes were used for dances, and so the form is very important. The form of this song is A-A-B-B. Now, you can repeat that as many times as you want. For a contest, you're going to keep it to probably about a minute. And for jamming, it's just going to go a long time. Yeah. So, anyways, with this song, I'm going to teach you kind of what I would do when I would learn fiddle tunes. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's a little gear at the bottom right of your screen, and if you click on that, it's going to say playback speed. And whenever I would learn a tune, I would put it at 0.75%. I would put it at 50%, depending on how fast the tune was in the video. So if you can do that, scroll back to the beginning of this video where I just played the tune straight through. That is the basic tune. Now, if you can learn that, there's lots of sheet music online also. If you just type in St. Anne's Reel. It doesn't really matter if you want to learn it off sheet music or learn it by ear. It's way fun either way. The way you're going to learn a tune is you're going to listen and you're going to listen and you're going to listen. If you can get your hands on anybody on YouTube that plays it in different styles, in different keys, different versions, you're going to be better off and have better improvising when you play this song. Now, the first time you play it through, maybe you want to play it really basic. And the second and third and fourth times, if you're jamming, you're going to add embellishments and ornamentation. The way that you're going to do that is try again. Okay. The way you're going to know how to improvise better is something that I really want to touch on. So I didn't really start learning how to improvise until I was in college at Belmont. When I would improvise, it was more just like slow notes, or like I didn't really know what I was doing. And let me tell you, you can know what you're doing when you're improvising. It's not just a lot of mindless playing notes and just go ahead and do it, okay? Step one, you need to know your chords. The chords in this song are very basic. You can play it on guitar, you can play it on mandolin. Mandolin is a really easy transition, sort of, from violin because it has the same fingerings. When you do that, you're getting the flow of the chords in your fingers, in your brain. When you have the chords down, you know on the violin what the starting note of each chord is. And usually it's going to change on beat 1, beat 3, or go for a whole measure. Okay? Once we know the chords, then we practice. We practice the basic tune. Now, that's step 2, practicing the basic tune. Step 3, practicing the scales of the chords that you just learned. So, first chord is D. Go ahead and play the D scale in the D arpeggio. Let's just do 1 octave. If you're more advanced, do 2 octaves. Or if you're a classical player, you'll definitely know 3 octaves. I'm not going to go ahead and do that, but you know it starts in third position. One thing that I noticed with a difference with classical to fiddling is D scales in third position when you play it 3 octaves. Try playing it in a ton of different positions. That's going to get you more familiar with jumping into different positions and where you can play the key of D, F sharps and C sharps, on the violin. Then the next key is G. So you play the G scale in the G arpeggio, okay? This is not gonna get you to improvise right away, but it's gonna make you familiar with what key you are in at the moment of that chord. So first step was learning the chords, second step is practicing the basic tune, third step, learning the scales of each chord. The reason you're gonna learn the scales, it's gonna help you learn what sharps are where, if you're going to play low 2s or high 2s, high 3s or low 3s, and also you can be in different positions when you're playing it. There's a song, Little Rock Getaway. Most people play it in first position, but if you're wanting to spice it up a little bit, you can jump and go an octave higher. I can do that because I've learned all the chords, I've learned all the scales that are associated with those. This is not the only way to improvise, but this is a great start for people that are maybe transitioning from classical over to fiddling. And then you can improvise. Okay, so now we know. And that is the first chord. So, because I know my scales and my arpeggios, I was able to, in the D chord, add some more notes from the D scale, because all music is different patterns, different directions of scales and arpeggios. It really, once you boil it down, it can be boiled down to scales and arpeggios. So it's really important to know every single one. The next thing I want to talk about is how to get better if you are a beginner player, if you just want to improve in general. I've challenged myself during quarantine to find out what my worst key of improvisation is, and it's B major. B major, for some reason, is so hard for me. It has 5 sharps, and it's just really, really hard for me to be in tune, just have good ideas about how to improvise. So I actually have this book, one of my favorite little fiddle books that I grew up kind of playing out of. It's a championship contest fiddling. It's a great book to pick up by Mel Bay, of course. And I would just I'm still doing this, playing through the song in its original key and then transposing it to B major. Now this might be a kind of a joke, but I'm going to try this right now with St. Anne's Reel. So I'm going to play it first in D and then skip to B major. Able to transpose it from D to B major. Now this is a bigger step if you're a beginner player to do that transposition just right off the cuff, but it's something that you should be working towards to be able to play whatever you're playing in a different key if it's kind of concentrated within the same octave, which this one thankfully is. So my biggest pieces of advice, if you're trying to be an improviser on a fiddle tune, let's say you're jamming, okay, is know the chords. Play it on a guitar, play it on a mandolin. Maybe you're just doing, you're kind of fingering the chords on the violin. The next step is practicing the basic tune. The third step is playing the scales of each chord. So you're going to have to write out the chords on a sheet of paper so you can visualize them. And these were things that weren't really taught to me that I kind of discovered, kind of made into my own way of learning a song, being able to be better as an improviser. So that is something that I wanted to teach you. Give it a thumbs up if you like it.